And we are underway. Nicole May getting the start tonight for the Sooners in the circle, the sophomore out of California. You see her numbers on the season, undefeated when she takes the field at 12-0.
A sophomore, but an athlete that has a lot of experience. You think of last season, her presence during the Women's College World Series was kind of an unsung hero in the circle. She'll stay low in the zone, right at the knees, a hard drop ball.
And 2 balls and a strike to the leadoff hitter, and Michaela Barnes. Barnes, a junior, just under 300 from the plate this season. No better place to be on a Friday night in Norman, Oklahoma than here to watch the champs take the field in postseason play. This will be an exciting weekend for sure throughout, and the fan support and the love of softball here in Norman is unreal. The state of Oklahoma really rallies around the postseason fun, which walks all the way to OKC for the Women's College World Series. 3-2. And getting the strikeout and retiring the first batter she faces is Nicole May.
Well, I think back to that 3-1 count, that very next pitch, I think was the one Barnes should have taken a cut for. And Nicole May gets the K with the rise. Let her high.
May, who threw 4 2/3 inning in that Big 12 championship, has strike 1 on Audrey Garcia, who tries to lay down the bunt. Second time in 4 years for Prairie View A&M winning the SWAC tournament crown. And as we heard their head coach, Vernon Bland, mention, yes, this is their second NCAA appearance. They want to disrupt, make noise here this weekend.
This is the second time in a row Nicole May has fallen behind. Typically an arm that attacks early.
And just getting the bat on it was Garcia. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the right fielder. May gets the signal from the dugout. The pitch on the way. And Garcia pulls that one. It stays in play, and a tag at the base, and Taylon Snow records the second out. The unassisted play from Snow, who started her career at Auburn. And they're going to rule that one a foul ball, so getting another shot at it is Garcia, and it's ruled a foul ball.
How about this battle from Garcia? She's got a home run on the season. 317 average. And so far is making Nicole May labor in the circle.
Garcia, who had a very good SWAC tournament, and a good AB here to lead it off. Right back at you to Nicole May. And quickly 2 down. Well, May, who was Big 12 all-freshman team last year, and coming back in her sophomore season. And her arm, along with Hope Trautwein, all the more important at this point in the season. And this one pulled by Viviana Figueroa in a 1-2-3 inning. Well, Nicole May and the Sooners defense off to a good start. We'll see what their bats have to say on the other side. Kennedy, really top to bottom, you can pick anybody out of a hat and say, yep, they can beat you. But Grace Lyons is a player that Patty Gasso has been so complimentary of, not only her defense, but also what she's done at the plate.
Well, having but started almost every single game but one, Lyons has the best average on this team, with the exception of Riley Boone, who starts this evening, has only started 37 games, but a .415 average, the shortstop.
And quickly, 2 balls and no strikes to the leadoff hitter for the Sooners in Jada Coleman. Coleman, the center fielder, who was a first-team All-Big 12 selection, All-American from a season ago. This one skirts by her, nicks her on the arm, and a hit-by pitch to lead it off here in the bottom half of the inning.
Well, Coleman comes around to show bunt. This pitch just up and in, gets her right on the bicep there.
And now that puts a runner on for the NCAA's home run queen, Jocelyn Allo. 113 for her career, sending them out of the park entering regional play. Broke that record back in March in her home state of Hawaii.
How about the lefty behind the plate, Figueroa? You don't see that often, Tiff. You don't often see a lefty receiving that ball behind the dish. Something else to point out, this battery calls their own game. So every pitch that you see thrown this evening, Figueroa is making that decision behind the plate. You don't see that a lot. I think the only other team we've really called is USF.
That's right.
Georgina Korick, up for National Player of the Year.
Going against this National Player of the Year standing in the box in Jocelyn Allo, who won it last year. Trying to do it in back-to-back seasons. She has company along with Bailey Klingler out of Washington, but you see the numbers that she's put up this season, beyond impressive. Going up and chasing that one, and it's now a full count.
A called strike, a swing through. If you're Massey, you're probably feeling pretty good. Pretty good about that.
And she walks her, that ball four rather. And the throw by Figueroa from behind the plate, unnecessary there in that situation, goes into the outfield. So the errant throw allows Jada Coleman to now stand at third with runners at the corners for Tiari Jennings.
And right now the focus on defense for Prairie View should be just fundamental. You don't need to do too much. Don't need to come outside of our game. Pitch by pitch, out by out.
And Jennings, the NFCA National Freshman of the Year, got a number of accolades and awards from a season ago, including first team All-America. And the play at the plate, and Oklahoma gets the score. They're on the board.
We'll get a look at this. The throw down to second base. Prairie View is able to collect the out with Jocelyn Allo, and that's exactly the bait that OU wants to throw out there. Draw the throw to the middle of the field with the speed of Coleman.
And thankfully they've done so, because Tiari Jennings sent that one into the home run village. Bye-bye, baby. Jennings had a no-doubter 23rd home run of the season for the country's best home run hitting team.
Well, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. When were we going to see the first ball exit this yard? And it comes off the bat of Tiare Jennings. This is a rise ball at the letters. And anytime a pitch is elevated at the plate, Oklahoma is going to elevate it out of the yard. Freshman of the year in 2021, now a sophomore, experienced, says welcome to postseason, Norman.
And welcome to the postseason, Prairie View A&M. Grace Lyons now stands in as Jennings. It's like it's another day at the office. It's all good. It's what we do. Her 5th home run in the last 9 games. When we think about this Oklahoma team who comes in 49-2, only 2 blemishes this season, one earlier in the year to Texas, and they ran into Haley Dolcini and the Longhorns, who were hungry to knock off the best start in NCAA history for the Sooners. And then after winning the Bedlam series to take another Big 12 crown, they fell in the championship game to the Cowgirls.
Well, and in getting to talk to Coach Gasso about those losses, she made it very apparent to both of us. We bounced back, and we bounced back quick. And she even said, make no bones about it, they outpitched us, right? They beat us. Dolcini beat us. OSU outright beat us. But she was very honest. We've got to play within our means. We've got to just do our business and do it right. A little bit of added pressure, I think, as they creep towards the postseason.
10 straight Big 12 Coach of the Year honors. Just inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame Thursday as Patty Gasso sees yet another base runner on for her Sooners. Reached the tournament every year that she's been the head coach in her 28 seasons here in Norman. And as Prairie View A&M spends some time in the circle, Coach Gasso gets a chance to chat it up with some of her hitters.
Taking a second just to refocus, have a word. Coach Vernon Bland coming out to the circle to settle down Massey. A hit by pitch to start this inning, a walk to Allo, the big bomb from Jennings, and another free base. And this is the time that Massey has to really refocus.
One thing we've learned about this Oklahoma team is you don't want to give them any extra help, right? This is a team who already does damage on their own. You don't want to aid in that if you're an opponent. Alyssa Brito swings through that one. 0-2 now.
I think it's important to note too that Prairie View A&M, they're no stranger to adversity. You know, at the start of the season, starting 0-19, having a heck of a run the rest of the way, winning that conference tournament. Coach Bland said, he said, you know, after the last out, I hit my knees, threw my hands up in the air. We were so excited to get to postseason. From where we started to where we are now. It's been a miracle.
This one inside on the hands, and Brito nearly pulled that one. It goes foul, but when you think about that 0-19 start and then the flip side of it in the last 29 games, they've notched 20 wins in that time. The run production has gone up, but Vernon Bland said, look, we just had to gel. It just took us a little extra time than most, but Brito striking out, and Kaylin Massey getting the second out of the inning with the Brito swing.
Well, one thing he said over and over, on any given day, we can shock the world. And it starts right here with the K of Brito, who's been on fire lately, a 370 hitter. Did I mention that she's got 13 home runs on the year? And Massey just sat her down.
This one lifted high into the air. Lindsey Elam. It's that one foul. Well, when you think about the number of home run hitters in double digits for this Oklahoma team, 6 different batters with 10 or more home runs on the season.
The part that makes me almost kind of giggle, first of all, to say that you got 25 runs on the year, that's a lot, right? And then you look just below her, Tiare Jennings has 22. And then you got 18 coming from Grace Lyons.
The backhand, that one's a fair ball, and nice defensive play from Jalen Davis.
Wait, Tiffany, watching that full day of practices and got to go out on the field, talk to each coach, and I gotta tell you, zooming out as an analyst, getting to work with you through all the different sites and teams that we get to cover, it's very apparent that there's a lot of different ways that you can win championships. There's no one way to win a title. But watching those 4 practices yesterday, you could feel a level of intensity and a level of expectation when OU took the field for their practice.
You often hear about this championship mindset and where does it start, right? So you have to create this culture. And when we watched OU take the field, it was knowing exactly where to go, exactly what to do, everything with intention. As Nicole May strikes out Jalen Davis. And so when you think about that intention, this is why that intention is so important, because it produces results like you see on the screen.
Not a second wasted. Not a second wasted when this team hits the dirt. There is a level of respect of the game, and that comes back to that blue-collar mindset of this program.
And I found it interesting. We saw Texas A&M start things off for the day. They made the drive over, right? For Minnesota, they came the furthest. They flew in. Everybody's practice was different. Prairie View A&M, the last one to take the field, they flew in as well, coming out of the Houston area. And just the difference between them. No one way is right or wrong, but there was a system that we saw. And it was like a well-oiled machine for this OU team.
And I think you bring up a good point, because that's just another advantage of what it means to host a regional site or a super regional site, is because traveling is exhausting, right? It can be draining, it can wear you out. And so then you've got to take it a little lighter at practice on that day before your tournament play starts. But not Oklahoma, because they're here on their home turf. They can get after it.
Jerica Rojas is caught looking. 3rd strikeout for Nicole May so far through 5 batters.
Nicole May settling in. A little bit of a slow start in inning 1 for her. Got behind a few batters, but now she is just in the driver's seat. Back-to-back strikeouts for Nicole May. That's her 3rd so far through 2 innings.
That one coming in high to Talia Talley as she backs off the plate. Talley, a graduate of Carl Albert High School in OKC, about 30 minutes away from here.
There's a cut right there. Got a chance to run into the Talley family in the stands. I see them now, got their cameras out. Loving on their girl at the plate. I tell you, this Prairie View A&M squad has traveled deep. They've got a great fan base here today, a lot of support, a lot of excitement behind this group.
Right back at you, Nicole May. She knocks it down. The throw at first, it's still in time. What a play by Jana Johns. Defense wins championships. And we're going to get another review here, as we've seen 2 already today from our earlier game.
And they are going to go to the heads. So the question here, Tiffany, is that going to go against Prairie View A&M as one of their replays, or is this called by the umps?
And it's to see, is she safe or not? And on that replay, it looks like it hits the glove just before she touches first base. Bang, bang play.
I call it a bang play. It's even closer than bang, bang. Just bang. Great names on that list. More excited about the continuation of our sport, the growth of our sport, not just in the NCAA landscape, but life beyond collegiate softball. The stage is getting bigger and brighter, and I could not be more excited about it.
Seven, 8, 9 due up with Jana Johns leading it off here in the bottom of the second inning. Kaylin Massey has this tall order of getting through the OU lineup one time around nearly, and pops up Jana Johns for the first out of the inning. Well, this is an Oklahoma team hosting once more. It's something that they've become very, obviously familiar with, but to be the #1 overall seed the 3rd straight year, you think about the top 16 national seeds, and to hold their dominance wire to wire this year speaks to just the level of excellence here with this program.
The consistency. I think it's really easy to overlook. Year after year, you almost become numb, right? This expectation that, okay, yeah, they're going to be good. You think of the handfuls of programs, the Gators, right? The Tide, Arkansas now emerging into the scene, but this level of expectation that we're going to see these teams year over year. We're going to continue to see them dominate, continue to see them at least dominate in the postseason, if not arrive to the Women's College World Series. But in talking to Coach Gasso yesterday, talking to her staff, she said no one understands. No one understands how hard this grind is, and it is not expected. We can't just show up and get it. It takes a grind.
This one in play, and Snow flies out to left field. A 7-pitch inning. Oklahoma traveling, and this is a hostile environment to come into, right? Okay, because this is full of Sooner fans, but Prairie View A&M coming out of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and football-wise, they travel wonderfully.
Well.
In fact, they have led FCS in attendance for like 50 years. I mean, they show up to ball games, and I get an opportunity to call their games during the fall.
There's such a level of pride.
Yeah.
Such a level of pride. They've got a whole section over here behind home plate. They were rolling in deep. A rowdy group. Loud in the stands. I love the representation because they are making themselves known.
And they're looking on as Destiny Smith, the shortstop, has a 1-2 count to May, going up to Chase, and she sits down. 4th strikeout for May.
And you know that support in the stands has to mean so much to these young women, to this program. Talking to Coach Bland yesterday, he said he's just lucky. He feels lucky to have this group. He feels blessed to be the head coach here. A lot of pride in this team. And he feels like this team is really locked in right now. They're ready for this opportunity.
Bland, who is a graduate of Prairie View A&M, was founded as a part of the Texas A&M system as a separate but equal university in 1876, and the opportunity for him being a two-time all-SWAC performer pitcher to come back. And Coach, he says, you know, I was kind of like yanked into this position. I didn't necessarily see myself as a softball coach. I was being groomed as the baseball coach, but then things changed.
Right now, Nicole May owning that rise ball. Got Smith to swing through a few of them. Now McLennan snagging the bait of that rise ball up in the eyes.
And again, that looking so enticing for the batters, but not able to catch up to it. 5 of 8 have gone down by K.
And the past 2 here, just in the 3rd inning, off of the rise ball location. That's way up in the eye. She's continued to climb that ladder higher and higher. Why not? Right? See what you're going to get away with. If you can make it less sweet of a pitch and they're still going to bait at it, go for it.
The 9-hole hitter and Brandy Juarez looked in strike 1. Good placement and pitch there from Nicole May, ahead in the count. Sophomore May quickly working in the circle. That one pulled foul. The pitch. Well, coming into this game, 411 strikeouts for this pitching staff. 3 pitchers in the top 10 nationally in ERA. And this one put on the ground, 4th ground out of this ball game. It's either been ground out or strikeout for Nicole May as she's handling business in the circle through 2.5. Back to the top of the order with Jada Coleman. Coleman, who was hit by a pitch in her first meeting with Massey.
Coleman's one of those athletes that plays with a lot of passion, a lot of outward personality. I think back to my time here at Oklahoma, she was just a little youngster coming up through the recruiting pipeline. Got to host her during her time here at Oklahoma during her recruiting trip.
The chopper, knowing the home field, playing in the advantage, and the speed of Coleman as she legs out the infield single.
That's why she's been moved to the leadoff spot. I got a chance to talk with Coleman yesterday about that move to the leadoff position. She said, you know, I wasn't, if I'm being honest, Aaron, I wasn't jazzed about it. It's not my first choice, but I had to rise to the occasion. There's a reason why Coach wanted me at the top of this order. And that's why. Speed, triple threat, spark plug, personality. She's a momentum starter.
Well, she leads the team in stolen bases with 12 successful out of 14 attempts this year. And Alo back to the plate, who walked her first time up. She's used to free passes throughout her career because the idea is, do you really want to pitch to Jocelyn Alo?
Just give her a bag.
Remember that stretch of time when she was chasing OU great Lauren Chamberlain to try to break her NCAA home run record? There was a stretch of time where just a number of teams just decided to give her a base on ball because, why? She could do that right there, 113 throughout her career. We're also seeing Mia Davidson, the SEC home run leader in softball or baseball, also do her thing in this tournament. Taking off is Coleman, and she's safe. 13th stolen base of the season. The speed that you mentioned right there on display.
We're gonna see this. This is a tough play at second base. Throw there is in time.
But a great slide from
Great
Coleman.
slide, a great slide. The throw is money. Figueroa with the hose from the left hand.
And then what does it do? It puts her in position, in scoring position, more specifically for Jocelyn Allo to bring her home.
All the more reason why Coleman's in that leadoff spot. If she can set the table for Jocelyn Allo, for Tiare Jennings, Grace Lyons, it's situational hitting like this. Okay, a miss hit by Allo still brings home a run. Right up the middle of the field, another chopper on this hard infield, that's enough to get her done.
63 runs batted in for Allo. The RBI leader for this team, Tiare Jennings, standing at the plate. She was already responsible for one of the 3 runs on the board, courtesy a solo shot back in the first. And this one driven in to center field. It stays in the park and one away. You know, one of the things that the fans here at Marina Hines Field have to be spoiled with is the fact that every time you see the ball put in the air and hit deep into the outfield, your eyes get wide.
You can hear it in the crowd. Whoa, oh.
Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be another?
You know, I think back to the last loss that Oklahoma had. It was against Oklahoma State, the championship game of the Big 12 tournament. Eerily similar here with all the flyouts. Big swings, but just skied in the air. And we got to talk to Coach Gasso a little bit about that yesterday, of the pressure that this offense felt at the plate. Very similar to what we're seeing here.
Charging in is Natalie McClennan for the second out, and been in the shadows, quite honestly, of Oklahoma. But Kenny Gajewski has turned that program around. He's put them in the conversation once more as a national contender, and it's a fun back and forth that we continue to see within Bedlam.
We've seen quite a few balls in the air so far. There's already been 5 fly ball outs through 3 innings. And we know this team is going to hit bombs, but Coach talking about that added pressure this point in the season. Again, got to bring up the obvious, the absence of Jordy Ball in the circle. There's inherently this extra added anxiousness of, we've got to score more runs. We've got to swing bigger. We've got to go bigger in order to help out our teammate. And she's really challenged this offense that you don't need to do any more than what you're already doing. Look at what we've already done as an offense. You're doing it.
But sometimes you need that reminder, because as you and I have gone back and forth about this, it's the human element.
It is.
As Grace Lyons hits that one sharply into center field, Allo takes third, and on the throw, Grace Lyons moves to second. That's Alyssa Brito, excuse me.
Brito comes up clutch with 2 outs. This one off the end of the bat. Massey able to get her just a bit off balance, and that might have been enough to keep that ball in the yard, because that was an excellent swing. And that'll bring up the captain, Lindsey Elam. 2 in scoring position and 2 outs on the board. For the unanimously voted captain, Lindsey Elam has been a leader for this team for a long time. A vocal leader, leads by example through her play, her approach.
And this one, the hot corner right there, and off the glove of the third baseman, and bring home both Alo and Brito. And leading by example, and that at bat was Lindsey Elam.
One pitch, one swing, and that is enough for Elam. Blasts it by Davis at third base, and she'll collect 2 RBIs with 2 outs on the board. That's how a captain gets it done right there.
And Prairie View looking to try to regroup. Obviously, we have talked about just how good this Oklahoma team is. They've won 69% of their games via the run rule, and that is exactly what Jordy Ball wants to see. Even if she has to sit in the dugout and watch on, she wants to see her team produce like they've done all year long. This one through the 5-6 hole, just off the glove of a diving Destiny Smith. And Jana Johns continuing the good hitting for OU.
Another one off the end of the bat, working that dirt. And that really is the adjustment I think that OU needed to make at the plate, was get the ball down, quit swinging so big. Fundamental softball right now. We don't need to overdo it.
Her 16th appearance this season. First pitch in there, a strike to Riley Boone.
She is a true fastball pitcher, throws in the mid-60s, and she's all about location, hitting spots.
All facing off against Boone, an Oklahoma native. Boone keeping it in the state of Oklahoma, brother playing baseball over at Oklahoma State. And right now, this Oklahoma team just wanting to continue to apply pressure on the Panthers. Boone going up, try to get that one. It goes foul. Near our cameraman, ducking, having to get out of the way, man. Look, dangerous job out there. Stay safe, man. Stay safe, brother. We'll talk to Patty Gasso coming up next. You saw her just have a quick word with her son, JT Gasso, who's on the staff. That went high, getting past Figueroa. Another run scores on the wild pitch.
Lindsey Elam capitalizing on that ball, getting behind Figueroa. They have not let off the gas pedal yet.
This one sending back to the warning track, and Michaela Barnes gets the out. One time through the lineup. Aaron Miller, Tiffany Green here with you. From Norman, Oklahoma. The wind starting to blow a little bit back by our way. However, the flags in center field still remaining calm.
I'll never forget listening to a postseason press conference last year during the Women's College World Series after Nicole May had really stepped up big in the Women's College World Series. And Coach made a comment about her truly in that moment shifting from a young girl into a woman. And I think across the landscape of college softball, every athlete has that moment. It's like a rite of passage, right? Where you have that big opportunity that you've got to either fight or flight, and she rose to the occasion. And the way Coach Gasso talks about those moments, you know, her goal, I think about her goal with this program. She always talks about, she goes, more than anything, any ring, any win, any championship, I want each young woman to leave here a woman, from a young girl to a strong, confident woman.
And we're seeing that confidence so far tonight. Another strikeout for Nicole May. And with each pitch, you get more and more confident, more comfortable in your skin, and you're reaffirmed by your coach and your teammates as well.
That momentum building. And she's right. You know, when you look at this staff, she's the one that's got the experience. That is priceless, too. You really can't quantify what those reps mean until you're in that moment again. And you've got to lean on that experience to show up and compete.
What did you feel like was the biggest teacher, or the biggest lesson, rather, you learned from your 13 title to your 16 title?
I could write a book on it. I really could. You know, I think it's the emotional management really is what I would pinpoint and kind of hang my hat on. It's really easy to ride the emotional roller coaster as a young girl stepping into a big stage like this, and it takes a lot of trial and error to learn how to get off the emotional roller coaster. And I can tell you that all of these women on this field, every single team in this tournament will look back and be thankful for this experience because they're going to be better for it.
Getting Audrey Garcia to swing through that one, and now a full count to the lefty. And the first walk given up and base runner for Prairie View A&M in this ball game. So now the perfect game goes out the window, but the no-hitter still very much in play. As shutout baseball through 3 innings for Nicole May, with Viviana Figueroa, the best hitter for the Panthers, now up. Figueroa, who transferred from Temple Community College in Texas, went on to earn SWAC Hitter of the Year and Newcomer of the Year, as well as Tournament MVP in the SWAC Championship last week in Gulfport. And the Texas native takes that ball. Changing things up on that pitch. Well out in front is Figueroa. And something you pointed out at the start of the game, May falling behind batters early. So far, she's fallen behind every batter she's faced this inning. Staying alive is Figueroa, a player who struggled to find her way coming in to this program as, again, one of the 15 new faces for the Panthers, but since then she has settled in and asserted herself. And caught looking there. Strikeout number 7 for Nicole May. Way to battle back in that one and retire the most dangerous hitter in the lineup. And to put a button on your point, how do you take your mind and manage your emotions? These folks right here helped the OU team do that yesterday. They got to visit with them. Tons of OU fans, and one in particular, a 95-year-old woman who's close with Coach Gasso, wrote her a letter and said, hey, you know, I love OU softball. It means so much to me. And when you talk about that pressure, those great folks help to take their mind off of all that surrounds them, being the #1 team in the country, being this great light in the world of college sport and softball.
They took a little visit, took a field trip over to the local nursing home, visiting that group, sitting on the concourse there.
Reminding them of what matters. This one going all the way back, and Riley Boone is there in the postseason. Played Baylor a couple of times. Stephen F. Austin. You know, they didn't try to back down. And again, when this team started the year 0-19, you would think, okay, maybe this is just not the year. We're going to roll over as the high chopper over the third base and can't make the throw over the first as Taylon Snow goes to second base after the error.
Well, Taylon Snow starting to apply some of those adjustments that Coach Gasso had mentioned. Too many pop-ups, put the ball on the ground, hammer the ball into the field, and challenge this defense. And it pays off.
So she reaches on the error and back to Jada Coleman, who Coach Gasso made a point to call out and say she has done a good job putting the ball in play, trying to make it simple and easy, not trying to do too much. Her single back in the third inning, got a stolen base and then came home on a Jocelyn Allo base hit. Coleman chops this one again, just using the field. And now the Sooners 1 run away from getting into that mercy rule territory. If they're up by 8 after 5 innings, ball game is over.
Playing for a run, Taylon Snow, Jada Coleman, answering the call of this offense, answering the call of Coach Gasso, and working the dirt, hammering that ball into the ground.
We've already seen one stolen base from Coleman. And with no outs and Alo at the plate, we could very well see her take off once more. Three-time first team All Big 12 selection, and the All-American sends this one flying, and absolutely no doubt about it, and a great catch in the outfield by the security guard. Okay. Alo adds to her legend. Home run number 26 of the season, 114 for her career. And so calm, cool, and collected after that stroke.
So calm. She sees it deep in the stance. It's a smooth cut. She tracks that ball all the way to the barrel, effortless. Just pure silk at the plate.
And as she comes flying into home base, another multi-hit home run game for OU. They've hit 2+ homers now in 33 of their 51 games this season. But what's more, we have to credit the nice catch in the outfield. Well, Alo, who has done her family proud, and the big smiles, and it feels like a gift, a keepsake that you want to have and take home, because
it's a moment in time.
It is one of the most prolific hitters in all of college softball to ever touch the diamond. Just hit another blast. Meanwhile, Jennings aboard with a walk, no outs. Still in this fourth inning. The winner of this one will go on to face Texas A&M. And Oklahoma seems to have this one in hand. I think I asked this question to you before, Aaron. The idea of, you know, winning a national championship is so difficult, so challenging, so much goes into it. But then to repeat is all the more difficult. Which teams pose the biggest threat to OU?
I think it's a team that's going to have an entire staff that can challenge this offense. It's going to be a team that has a staff that can make the ball dance, that can pull the string, that can keep these hitters off balance. Because this is a team that makes adjustments and they prepare so well. We watched them yesterday in practice prepare for the pitchers they're going to see this evening. A little bit slower mile per hour than what they're used to, so they practice that timing, right? They practice who they're going to face. They simulate who they're going to face. It's very intentional the way that they prepare, so they're going to have to go up against somebody that keeps them guessing.
You think about the 1-2 punch of Malimley and Keely Rochard with Virginia Tech. Does Shanice Dells, who won the SEC Pitcher of the Year, can she help her team in Arkansas make a run? Florida State, obviously, who they met last year, and Grace Lyons says, "See you later, I'm going."
It is so easy. It is so easy to get lost in the broad picture of how dominant this offense is at Oklahoma. But if you were to pluck any of these athletes out of the starting nine and look at their individual efforts, you would see Player of the Year nominees, you'd see Conference Player of the Year nominees, but the fact that they are concentrated on one team, it's so hard to give love, appropriate love and recognition to every single one of these hitters.
Just trying to get the 3 outs here in her 14th appearance this season. Rojas likes to slow it down a little bit more, kind of keep him off balance with the off speed. Pinch hitter Sophia Nugent at the plate. And Nugent, out of California, one of the top recruits in the country by a couple of softball publications. And the decision to also be a player like Sophia Nugent, who comes in and says, I want to be a part of this greatness. I want to be a part of a program that's going to get the best out of me, that's going to make me better, that's going to give me a chance to win championships. And the confusion on the infield and the wheels continuing to fall off here for Prairie View A&M. There's 4 different bodies around, but the communication just not there.
And we'll wait for the call if this will be an error or awarded a single, because it doesn't look like a glove was actually on that ball when it hit the ground.
Still awaiting the official ruling there, but another pinch hitter and Hannah Core. Core, once again, another fresh face to this program, and we had the opportunity to see her hustle it out in practice yesterday to earn her keep and try to get that opportunity for pinch hitting attempts like this.
Saw her go yard a few times yesterday in practice. Actually got a chance to call an Alliance game last summer. Saw her make some incredible diving catches last summer as a senior in high school. And now making her postseason debut. So Nugent, Core, some fresh faces getting some reps. We talked about how valuable those repetitions are at this point in the season. You need that experience. Rip the Band-Aid off on the big stage.
Having matriculated through this program, Aaron, now on the other side as an alumni, how do you welcome in the freshmen? And what are those conversations like for those newbies in the program that try to meet that standard that's been created?
It's not easy. Being a freshman is not easy. I had a very tough freshman year here. You do get thrown into the fire. I even asked that question to Hannah Core yesterday of, tell me about freshman season. Tell me what that journey's been like. She kind of gave me a grin. She's like, it's been really hard. It's been tough, but man, you've learned a lot, and you are truly birthed by the fire. And I think that's just part of the process, right? It's a badge of honor getting through that first season. And that goes for any program that plays at this level. So many athletes want that opportunity. So many athletes want that jersey. So you've got to bring that gratitude and that work ethic so that you can arrive in the moment.
I just enjoy watching and listening to softball greats like yourself who just have this immense respect for the game, because it seems like that's a crucial part of the journey and the success along that journey.
Yeah, two questions I had, especially for Joe Evans and Coach Gasso yesterday, was tell me what you want your legacy to be. When you look back 15, 20 years from now, what's the one thing you're going to point at and say, I did that? Both of them talking not about the championships, not about the rings, not about the wins, not even about the new stadiums. Davis Diamond, Love's Field on the way. None of those things discussed. Both of these legends, Joe Evans, is now in her 26th season at A&M, Coach Gasso now in her 28th season here. All of them talk about relationships. All of them talk about the future and watching young women that they used to coach be mothers, start a family, coach, be successful in their professional careers. Life beyond softball. That is what it almost kind of made me emotional hearing their answers yesterday, because it puts it in perspective, the impact of softball.
Taraya Coleman, another freshman pinch hitter, getting an opportunity in her first ever regional game. Out of Houston, Texas, so well aware of Prairie View. Just about an hour outside of H-Town. But I love that. Staying true to the game, the love of the game. I mean, you're approaching 3 decades if you're Joe Evans and Patty Gasso at one respective school too.
Yeah, we talked about how special that was as well, because, gosh, this day and age, it's real easy to go find greener grass somewhere else. And both of these which are legends in their own respect, have decided to water the grass where their feet are. And I respect the heck out of that.
As do I, and I respect that swing right there from Taraya Coleman. Oh my goodness, bringing everybody out of the dugout with jumps and all. Pulls it out of the park. The home run fest continues for OU. Her first home run in an OU uniform comes in the postseason, baby.
Oh, Jocelyn Allo, emotional. Jocelyn Allo, emotional there as she is celebrating Taraya Coleman. That was a no-doubter. Off the bat, goosebumps for the freshman who gets a huge opportunity and absolutely comes unglued at the plate. Look at the reacts there. That right there, that is a team. That is a team pulling the same rope.
First career bomb for Taraya Coleman. And the curtain call that she received after, all the more special.
Amazing. So special for the freshman. Yeah. Wow.
She's going to soak up that moment. She's going to go back. She's going to replay it. Her family's going to call her, text her. Social media is going to be blowing up. And check this out. I love that this has been kind of popping up after every home run. 129 long balls, 130 strikeouts for the team on the season. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Grace Green, the pinch hitter, flies out to center. Good time to tell you that the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action begins Thursday, June 2nd at 12 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2022 Women's College World Series, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Well, I can't wait for OKC and the extended format too, from 7 days to 9 days, so giving teams a little bit more equity, rest in between. Jada Coleman. Back at it. This inning alone, 8 runs, 5 hits. Through 20 minutes gone by on your clock, just past 8:37 Central Standard Time. You know what? I think that the conversation from Tariah Coleman isn't going to die down anytime soon about her first career home run. What do you think? I mean, I think she's still giving, you know, everybody in the dugout who's willing to listen an earful. Did you see that, girl? No, but like I pulled it. Did you see how I pulled it?
No, but did you see where that went?
Right. Like, did I outdo the woman at the plate? Did I hit it farther than Jocelyn
I'll tell
Allo?
you, that was a towering bomb. I'll tell you, we got full stands this evening. You mentioned a sold-out crowd, but the party continuing at Home Run Village just behind right field. The fans coming out with the lawn chairs, the picnic blankets, enjoying some food truck food, big jumbo screen to tune into the game. Nothing stopping the fans from coming out and enjoying some softball.
No. 1,600 plus here, but I want to take like a video shot of like today versus tomorrow, and then Sunday to watch kind of the daily sequence of how Home Run Village fills up.
You imagine tomorrow with nice weather, a little bit cooler breeze. They won't have to race to get here after work. They've got a nice Saturday to sit out there and enjoy a day full of softball.
OU well on their way to meeting up with Texas A&M in our first game tomorrow on our ESPN family of networks, getting underway at 2 Eastern Standard Time. And that is the third out of the inning, but not before an offensive onslaught for OU.
Let her rip. The long ball lives on here in Norman. We continue a 14-0 lead for the Sooners. But it's pulling the string. That's going to make her successful. That'll make her dominant in the circle. Being able to mix speeds in the zone.
So again, as we talked about, Jordy Ball, not expected to see her in the regional round. All the more important for Hope Troutwine to get some much important innings in postseason play, and her first time on this stage.
start to settle in this next chapter of the season for Hope. And just to get in flow, right? Grease the gears, start to get a feel for what this stage is going to be like.
Rojas, Talley, and Smith due up for the Panthers. This one in play, coming over is Tiare Jennings, and the out is recorded. Now here's our Capital One rewarding performance, and it goes to Nicole May.
What was a slow start for her in inning one, she made huge adjustments the rest of the game, was money with that rise ball. She was steady with it all game long, loose, grooving, feeling good. And her team's hung up 14 runs for her. That's support.
More importantly, a no-hitter through 4 innings for May. We've already seen a couple today in the regional round, and she's trying to add her name to that list. Now she watches on as Hope Troutwine tries to close things out, and a combined no-hitter is what they're in search of. More importantly, a W to advance to the winner's bracket. Talia Talley can't catch up to that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Talley, the one that was a hot shot back to Nicole May, buzzed the tower a little bit, right back up the middle of the field. So spunky at the plate, a lot of confidence in her swing.
But can't catch up to it. 2 down, the strikeout number 1. She's like, come on, go, 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 Hope. Go, Hope, go. All right, down to their final out. Anaya Spangler, the pinch hitter out of San Antonio. Stands in. You see the different look that Hope Troutwine just provides you in the circle. It's a big rush to the plate,
Yeah.
and just very dominant and strong and forceful.
One thing I love about Hope Troutwine is that you can tell she's got just laser focus in the circle, but when you get a chance to talk with her outside of the white chalk lines, she is smiley, she is giggly, she is laid back, she's got such a witty sense of humor.
And gets the strikeout, the no-hitter in the books. More importantly, a new NCAA record, 36 run rule victories for this Oklahoma Sooners squad.
She is funny outside of the diamond, but she is locked in the circle. She slams the door shut here. 7th no-hitter of the season for Nicole May, and what a game 1 for Oklahoma.
Program record for this staff, and the dominance asserted here, much like many expected coming in for the #1 overall seed, and they certainly flex their muscles here tonight over Prairie View A&M.